Welcome back, everybody. Lostboys Cypher Circle is back in session. If you didn't know, now you do. This is the place where I bring all kinds of artists, whether you got visual art or stories or songs or poems or whatever it is. This is the place to come get your thoughts and your feelings heard, free of judgment, and just hang out with a lot of cool, like-minded people and talented artists and get some good feedback and just meet a lot of good, nice people and talented people. If you want to come on the show, message me on Facebook at Dylan Lawler or email me at lostboy420x@gmail.com. That's Dylan Lawler on Facebook or lostboy420x@gmail.com. And make sure y'all go subscribe to us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Tonight is our first Instagram live. So from now on, we will be on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram live every Saturday night. And then the episode will be posted to everywhere you find podcasts, such as Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeart, Pandora, and anywhere else you find podcasts. Also, go follow us on TikTok as well. Also, make sure you keep a lookout for extra episodes of our what I like to call our sister show. It's Lost Boys Presents Deep Cuts. It's a show where I bring on artists one-on-one, and I get to have a longer, more in-depth conversation with them, go deeper into their mind and see how they tick. It's a lot of fun. We put out about 6 episodes now. And yeah, go look out for it. Check it out. It's on the YouTube channel under videos, and then all these episodes will be under the live section. So make sure I'll go check that out. And also, Lost Boys presents Lost in the Woods with me and my lovely producer / co-host over here, Brandon Coombs. We go out in the woods with a GoPro. We fish, we camp, we hunt. We've only put out 1 episode. We've recorded 3. We're working on editing the other 2. So keep a lookout for those coming soon to a YouTube near you. And yeah. Also, if you want to donate to us at all, you can donate to us on Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal at LostBoy420X. Don't forget the X, or you will end up typing in someone else's cash tag, and we don't want that. So LostBoy420X, anything from 10 cents to $10 helps. Thank you very much. That being said, before I start the show, as I say every week, this show to me primarily is about bringing people together and helping people and reaching out to people who are struggling and using art as a way to help people through their struggles. So I always kind of like to say, don't bottle up your inner struggles. Get them out through your art, and also reach out to the people in your life, because the hardest thing sometimes is when you're feeling like that is feeling like no one cares, no one wants to listen, there's no one that can listen to you. I promise you there is. Coworker, mom, dad, friend, me, most of the artists on this show would be happy to talk to you, your cat or your dog. I mean, don't bottle them up. Talk to someone. Reach out. Also, if you want to reach out to any professional hotlines, I have a few here for you. You can go to lifelinecrisis.com, and they have like trained professionals and other resources on their website, and also text their hotline 988. And you can also go to betterhelp.com, and they have, it's like online therapy. It's one of the cheapest things out there, and they'll hook you up with an online therapist. And like I was saying, how the hardest thing is finding someone that you can actually talk to. If you don't like the therapist they hook you up with, they'll switch you out with another one free of charge until you find someone that you vibe with. So I hope y'all can go find some help there. And kind of piggybacking off of the whole mental health topic, because the show is therapeutic and we do talk about a lot of triggering topics, I like to give a quick trigger warning. This goes for audience or guest. If anything triggers you at any point, feel free to click out and come back another time. No one will no one will fault you in the slightest. It's not meant to trigger anybody. Like I said, this is just our own personal way of therapy. This is how we get our inner darkness out. And we hope that it doesn't bring any of your inner darkness to the light too badly. So with that being said, let's get on with the show and have a good night. If you want to ask us anything, drop some fire emojis down in the comments. Say random stuff, whatever you want to do. Comment section is open. As always, we'll get to your comments. Um, that being said, guys, let's get to our first artist of the night. She's one of my longtime best friends, one of our best artists, one of the best artists I've ever known. Um, she's a visual and commission artist, which means if you have something you need created or drawn or whatever, she does digital art and physical drawings and all sorts of stuff. And she will do that for a fee. So hit her up. You can follow her and hit her up on Twitter or X as they call it. Skedaddle at skedaddle underscore art. That's SKEDADDLES underscore art, or on Instagram at x dot skedaddles art or skedaddles dot art dot x. And yeah, let's play her flyer and get her up here. And give it up for Brandon on the air guitar and me on the air drums. That was we just jam out to your flyer every time it comes on. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm kind of tired, but we'll work through it. I
I feel
really
you.
need to update my poster.
Oh, your poster? No, I like it. It's good. But yeah, we can get some new art and stuff on there for you.
I want the song to stay the same, but
Oh yeah, definitely,
some new
definitely.
stuff's up there.
Real quick, shout out to my pops. Daddy O is in the building. Papa J, Papa Lawler.
What's up, Papa
What's
J?
up, Dad? How you doing tonight?
Tired. Had a long weekend, very long weekend. It was pretty fun though. I had a burrito for the first time with my mom today. I,
Wait, hold on. It was your first, like your first burrito ever?
ever. First
All right,
burrito ever.
we need to make a whole podcast just on that alone. Just on that alone, like your first.
So I'm possibly autistic, so I don't eat many foods.
No, I feel you. I know quite. I'm one of the few people. I think it's actually because of my dad over here that just I'll eat anything. Like I mean I'll throw anything together and make it work. Just anything. But that like grosses a lot of my friends out. So I feel you. Yeah.
I couldn't do that. I can only do that when like there's no food in the cupboard. Gotta eat peanut butter and soft shell tacos.
I feel you. Well, anyway, yeah, I feel you. I'm tired too. I went to I was telling you before the show. I went to a concert yesterday. I took Tessa, who some of you will know her. She's my little sister. She's been on the show a couple times and done a couple pieces. I took her to Melanie Martinez's concert for her 15th birthday. So, and I know you're super jealous.
I'm so happy for her though. Tell her I said happy birthday and congratulations.
I will definitely. Thank you. So I mean, if there's anything I left out or anything you want to add to, or just, I mean, tell the new people who don't know you about yourself, by all means, go ahead.
Uh, as he said, I'm a commission artist. I also do like paintings at the moment. I am working on getting new like paint supplies, but I do like for your house paintings and stuff. So yeah, anything you want painted, I can do for a pretty small fee compared to other people.
Cool. Yeah, and she's really good. You're about to see something.
Well,
What is
these
the
ones
what's
aren't the greatest.
well, I mean, they're also you were also, as I understand it, these are old ones because you're trying to display your growth as an artist. Are both of
Yes.
them are both of them old, or is one of them new?
The first one's gonna be old, and then the second one's gonna be new.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really like that too because I mean, I've seen it being your friend for a while, and some of the other guests have seen it, and audience members have seen it, watching the show. But for people who it's just their first time tuning in, that's a great way to show off your progression. But I think both of them are fantastic. So the first one you're gonna be doing tonight is Stitch,
2017 Stitch.
2017 Stitch. All right. Pop it up here real quick. Why don't you tell us about it?
I can't do math, so I can't remember how old I was when I did this, but I remember it was 2016, 2017. And this was the first time I ever stepped out of my comfort zone from like drawing my girls. And I am still obsessed to it to this day. It's wonky and it's not shaded right, but it's adorable and it's mine and I love it.
Yeah,
I,
no, it's fantastic. I mean, even without color, it's just phenomenal. I mean, you could put that in a Disney. Well, they don't use it anymore, but they used to have these things where they put all the
the light
images,
boxes.
and it would cycle through all the images super fast to create a cartoon. That's how they used to make them.
Hmm.
And yeah, no, I mean, even it has even expression to it from like the way his eyes are narrowed and the little crease at his nostril. It really like makes you feel not
Hmm.
like it's not just a drawing of Stitch, but like it has the attitude of Stitch. Like he's like,
I can't remember
you
what
know,
if I was going for that back then, but we'll say I was.
no, I really like it. So this was done entirely in pencil. It
Yes.
looks like, yeah.
On
And
probably printer paper.
how long do you remember how long it took you to do it?
God, no, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even fully remember drawing this piece. It just came up in my mom's memories a couple days ago. I was like, oh.
Oh, that's cool. And you just snagged it and you're like, oh, okay, I'll show this off. I mean, yeah, no, it's great piece and a solid choice. I mean, I'm not a drawer or I'm an artist, but my art is with words, obviously. So it's hard for me to
You're
like
not a
pick
visual
out.
artist, you're a
Right, it's
lyrical
hard
artist.
for me to pick out the small like intricacies and details that are different or less perfected than some of your newer work. Because I just look at all your work from the past fucking 5, 7 years, and I'm like, wow, that's just phenomenal. Well, I can't believe I've known you for 7 years. That's fucking crazy.
That is
Um,
boggers. You're the only
but
one that has stuck around.
yeah, us artists seem to be a little crazy and push people away. It's kind of an artist thing.
Birds of a feather flock together, though.
Yeah, yeah. That's what the show's all about. That's why it's the circle. That's why it's a circle. We all come in a flock together. A bunch of lost birds. Lost birds. We should change the show to Lost Birds.
Yes. Now have like a
But
bloopers.
yeah, like we'll do a little blooper reel. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'm gonna get these other artists up here and see what they think about this piece here. Um, Lady Crucible, why don't you what do you think?
You know I love a good the fact that your word you just I'm still sitting here trying to put things into words. It's not often that people have me lost for words, but definitely a dope piece though. Like and this is my first time hearing you, so I would definitely love to hear more of your pen. I love the path that is journeying on. It's definitely yeah. I'm loving that. That's beyond the snap.
Oh, I thought okay.
That's a hand clap along with a standing ovation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Elemental, what'd you think? Oh.
Listen, I'm a fan of visual art, so and I know how difficult it is to share your interpretation of whatever muse you have, and then for people after years for them to pick it up and see it and actually appreciate for what it is. I think that is powerful. So I appreciate you for sharing.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, Lawrence.
Yeah, it really warms my heart to see people take their art to this level, and what you've experienced it in life and bring it forth in your work is phenomenal. And I greatly appreciate you sharing that with us today. And everybody has a different muse, and you found yours, and hopefully you can continue to grow with it.
Yeah, phenomenal. And yeah, you'll see some of the growth she's done later. But yeah, we'll catch you again in a few minutes for your second piece. Cool,
Okay.
thanks. All right, that brings us to Mr. LJ Bechtel, or Lawrence Bechtel over here. He's been on the show once before. The J is James, by the way. In case anyone was wondering, he's a poet, he's a painter, he does pottery and ceramics, and he's just an all-around general craftsman. You can follow him on Facebook at Lawrence Bechtel, on Instagram, and on his Reddit page at X Larry Bear X. Um, you can visit his Quora at Lawrence hyphen 1872. Visit his LinkedIn account at Lawrence Bechtel, and also visit a number of Reddit communities that he frequents, where he helps other artists and mentors them on those platforms. So I'm gonna play his flyer and get him up here. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey,
Sounds like
I'm
you've been
good.
busy.
I'm good. Yeah, a little bit. You know, doing quite a bit, trying to keep up with the family and the work and the podcast all at the same time, and you know, and still find a place to be creative. You know,
Yeah. Awesome.
but
Awesome. That's good. Good space to be in.
yeah. I mean, I say this every week though, but this show is like it's a release for me. You know, it's a place where no matter what's going on or what I'm trying to struggle and deal with, it's a place that once the show, getting it set up is the hard part. Once the show starts, it's just like I ease into this nice comfy chair right here and I just hang out with some cool, awesome, talented people, and it's just, you know, some of the most fun ever. And when you like it is, to me, I treat it like a job, in terms of like how I, you know, put things together and work on things and structure things. But
Right.
when you love your job, you never work a day in your life. So, you know,
That's right. Yeah. You find your passion and you enjoy it.
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself for those of us who don't know you.
Yeah. I have some good news to share. I'm finally published. Got published 2 weeks ago. So I'm really excited
Congrats.
about my first publication. 3 poems were submitted, and all 3 were published. The publisher is allyourpoems.com. They're out of the UK. They have an excellent magazine of a lot of talented world poets, and I was really excited to be a part of their May edition. So I can put author by my name now.
Hell yeah. Okay, so including in his introduction, also include author, poetry, painter, author, pottery, ceramics, and craftsman.
I know. I wish I had all.
I mean, you say I'm busy. You sound way more busy than me, man.
I was going to say, I wish I had so much time to do all that, but I do. Those are all my passions, and when I have time, I kind of
Right. Yeah.
be
No, I
into a
mean,
little bit of it along the way.
I also, I feel kind of the same way. I used to put writer, or novelist into my bio, but the
Mhm.
problem is that I haven't written a full novel yet, or I have, but it's not done, or it's not like something that I want to put out. I haven't published anything,
Yeah.
and I haven't actually written anything new in the fiction era or the area for like about a year or two. So I stopped putting writer in the bio, or in the you know, like you see up here, host, poet, MC. I stopped putting that in there just
Yeah.
because like I didn't feel it was right until I get back into, you know, writing fiction a little more.
Right.
But you are you once a writer, you're always a writer, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. You write a sentence, you're a writer, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, shit. I mean, doing paperwork at work. Then I guess I write every day.
That's right. Absolutely. Milestone in your life when you can communicate a full sentence. You're a writer.
Yeah, yeah. So, last time you came on and you did share some of your fiction with us, but this time you're going to be sharing some poetry, huh?
Well, last time I did poetry, and it was
Well, you did
yeah,
do a no.
it was I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You didn't read a story. I could have
No,
sworn you had read a story.
no. I read my eulogy, which is
Oh,
a poem.
maybe that's what I was thinking. Maybe it just felt more like a. It felt
Yeah.
like I do remember you doing the eulogy now.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. What are you going to be doing for us tonight? You
So I
kind of
decided.
hinted. You kind of hinted that it was a little different than.
Yeah. Last time it was hard for me to just kind of talk through my poetry because it was so emotional for me, and to do my eulogy, that was even harder. But I thought, hey, this time let's look at something that's not going to choke me up or stop me from reading, and look at something that was a part of my phase into poetry, and that is the darker side of my poetry. And it's not to be horror or macabre about it, but it was a very depressing time in my life that I had to get in touch with those feelings and find a way to bring them out so that I didn't let them eat me inside. And so I started reading some literature on dark poetry. Edgar Allan Poe, world famous poet that dealt with dark poetry, and what he did and what he was doing in his life when he wrote a lot of his dark poems, such as The Pit and the Pendulum. So I kind of sat back and just started writing out words that described how I was feeling that state of mind, that darkness. And I came up with Everybody Hurts Everybody. And these two poems are inspired by musical acts or songs or musical pieces. So if you see the rhythm kind of reflect a song, hint, hint, that's where I got the inspiration from.
I like that. I do that with. I mean, almost all of my pieces. I listen to everything from country to. I mean, I listen
Yep.
to Mozart. And Beethoven is big for me. There's actually like 2 or 3 Beethoven. I mean, I guess there's sections of an entire thing, but
Yes.
I guess you could say Beethoven songs that I listen to, and just write to. But everything from Beethoven to Eminem to, country to rock to whatever, and it's just I pull from all of it. And
Yes.
and every time I hear, when you have like this one song that you're like, you go through like a month period where you're like, just that's the song you play like
Yes.
a lot or like just constantly or whatever. Every
Yes.
time I get stuck on one of those, I let it inspire me to write something of my own, and it actually helps me get that song out of my head.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, is writing my own kind of version of it, not version of it, but like taking the things that I felt from that song and the sentiments from that song that I, related to, and working them into my own piece. Or the vibe of it, or just whatever. Yeah. So I love when a poet can work music into.
Yeah, and it's a kind of a natural balance because music has rhyme. You take the rhyme in and you basically start writing the words to the rhymes that you're hearing, and it's very rhythmic.
Rap actually stands for rhythm and poetry, or at least
Yes.
that's what I've been told. I don't know if that's like
Absolutely.
an actual historical fact, but that I choose to believe it.
Yes, I
Because
agree. I agree.
rhythm and poetry. I mean, what is music if not poetry with auditory poetry behind it? I mean, like I was just saying, Beethoven, he can tell an entire story with 0 words.
Right.
And that's poetry to me.
That's
That
right.
even though it has no words, it's still poetry to me.
And a lot of people ask me, what is poetry? And, define it for me. And it's like, I can give you the academia version of what poetry is, or you can reach inside yourself and draw out what poetry means to you. And I tell people, it's the way your inner voice speaks to you through the rhythm of life.
I think poetry is not a thing; it's a feeling. Most
That's right.
definitely,
It's
it's most
emotional state
definitely
of mind.
a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. So what do you? What's the first one you're going to be sharing with
Okay.
us tonight?
So the first one,
Is this one everybody
everybody
hurts everyone?
hurts
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you, Brendan.
Yep.
All right.
It's
One
REM
question.
inspired.
One question before about the title.
Yeah.
Is it everybody hurts
Comma.
everybody? Right.
Everybody.
So
Yes.
it's not everybody hurts everyone. It's
No.
everybody hurts all
Everybody.
people.
Yes.
Everyone. All of us hurt. Okay.
Our actions speak louder
That's
than
what I
words.
thought. I wrote it correctly. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Cool. I'll get myself out of here and let you get to it.
All right. In the quiet moments of my life, I find a sorrow that's hard to define, a pain that lingers deep inside, a wound that never seems to heal. Everybody hurts. Oops, sorry. Great. Technical issues here. Okay, there we go. It's a feeling we all know, a weight that heavy on the world, a burden that's hard to show. We try to hide it from the light, but it's always there, a constant fight, a struggle to keep our heads above in a world that's full of strife. In the darkness of my heart, I find a glimmer of hope and grace, a sense that we're not alone, a feeling that we're all in this place. So let's hold on to each other and lift each other up, for in the power of our love, we'll find a way to heal and rise above.
I love that, man. I love that. That was awesome and beautiful. And I just love the overall message of it because I mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, that's what to me that's what this is all about. Not just the show, but the art form and just my life in general is coming together to fight the darkness and overcome our tragedies and our past and fight through them to make a better and brighter world. And you illustrated that phenomenally. Your rhyme scheme was great, and I love the it was very just the slow almost Shakespearean cadence of it was very, very fitting, and you read it very well. That's fantastic.
Outside of the technical, my prompt went down. I was like, where did it go?
Hey man, I'm the host of the show, and that happens to me at least twice a week. So yeah, I feel you. No, yeah, that was a great piece, man. Fantastic rhyme scheme, fantastic message. Again, just it means so it hits me on a personal level and means so much to me on a personal level because that is what I have built my character and my being around is coming together and inspiring other artists and letting other artists inspire me, and not just artists but just people in general, and letting other people lift you up. And like I was saying, like the key word is letting, because it's hard to let somebody help sometimes, and it's hard to come together when you feel like you're alone in the darkness. But the only way to get out of the darkness is to come together. And I love that message.
It's a journey many go on, and it's one that doesn't have to be alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring these other artists, see what they thought.
Great.
Yeah. Lady Crucible, what'd you think?
First off, the rhyme scheme was just sick with it. Like, very short message, but very, very powerful. Very powerful. And I also can resonate. If everybody hurts everybody, and we don't even pay attention to it. So that's a very powerful message. Yes, I definitely love that. Definitely, yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Elemental, what'd you think?
Listen, when you start really making those proclamations, man, that's where the healing really begins, right? because like you said, right, we do struggle to keep our heads above, right? And sometimes that could be something as simple as reaching out or taking the time to write a poem, right?
Yeah.
Hold on to each other is also what you said, and that is important, right? Knowing who that you can hold on to, who you can reach out to in those struggling moments, right? Because sometimes you can't find a way, but we have to do our best to find a way to heal and rise above, right? It's not always a solo effort. Sometimes it does take a village. So it's also a level of fearlessness that it goes into writing and sharing something like that. So appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Neela,
Hello.
skedaddle. What'd you think?
Hold on. I had it all in my brain. You just showed me that a poem doesn't have to be super long to have such a powerful word behind it. Like, that was beautiful. Short, simple, to the point. Beautiful. I had more words to put, but they all decided to out of my brain as soon as my name was called.
Yeah. That's that.
We all had those
88.
moments.
I feel the ADHD vibes very strong. I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, man, that was just a phenomenal piece and a phenomenal
Thank you.
message. Thank you. What's up, Tender Mystify? Um, I'm not sure who that is, but what's up?
Hey, that's Tender Miss Wolf Hours in the building, most definitely.
I shout out, shout out. Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna get on to our third artist tonight, and that being said, her name is Lady Crucible or Nia Connie. She's been on the show many times before. Oh, hold on a second here. There we go. Y'all can go follow her on Instagram at lady_crucible. Subscribe to her on YouTube at Poetic Priestess, and come check her out a lot of times on the not most, but quite a few times on this show. She's a regular guest. She's one of our favorite artists, one of my personal favorite artists. We also did a deep cuts together, so go check out my YouTube and check out our deep cuts together. And let me play her flyer and get her up here.
For my enemies to torture you, maybe even you, one by one. Your flesh being ripped from your bones, the rupture of your lungs, this inescapable claustrophobia, the dungeon of horror. My intent of your intentional suffering, the anticipation, no caption to save you. I was tortured by the man that kept molesting me, assuming a position of ultimatums.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
What it do? What it do? You know, it's always a pleasure to grace the stage. Always.
Hey, we got Neela showing you out in the comments. Let's go.
Hey, what's good, Neela? Shout out to you too, Queen. Always.
Shout out to the little ones in the background.
Hey, you know, I can't be for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes.
No, I feel you. But how you doing tonight?
Hey, I can't complain. Hey, I'm blessed as usual.
Absolutely. We're blessed to have you here and honored to have you here as usual. Like I said, you're one of the best artists I know and best artists on the show. So thanks for coming
Oh,
here
well,
again.
thank you.
Anything you
So,
want to tell us or people who don't know you about yourself, by all means.
well, I'm Nia, aka Lady Crucible. I'm a part of Poet, People of Extraordinary Talent. I'm also part of Word of Mouth, Wolf Hours, definitely in the building. I'm basically just working on my new book, my first book. Hopefully I should have that dropping by December. You can find me on Instagram as Lady Crucible. You can find me on YouTube as Poetic Priestess. You can find me on TikTok under one of them names. I can't even possibly tell y'all which one, but it's under one of them names. And you can find me on Facebook as Nia Coney. You know, look me up. Uh, that's about it. You know me, just doing my thing.
Yeah. Go on her page, get to know her. You wanna get a deep look at the way Nia's mind works. Go check out that deep cuts. That was a lot of fun. We got to do that again. You're just like, especially when I first thought of the idea of deep cuts or whatever. You're one of the first people that came to mind because like, you're just one of the coolest people to have a conversation and just sit and vibe with. And that's definitely a lot of fun, man.
It was definitely a lot of fun. We definitely got to do it again. Definitely.
For sure. Cool. So what you got for us tonight?
This piece I'm doing today is called Racing Thoughts.
Racing Thoughts. All right. Have I heard this one before? Or have you just talked about it before?
I've talked about it, but I think this will be the first time
You
I've
just
read it.
I think you talked about it on the last piece and or the last show, and then all right, cool.
I was working on it the last show. Yeah, I finally finished it now.
All right, word. So I'm excited to hear it. I'll draw myself out of here and let you get to it.
All right. Like the Kentucky Derby, Cadillac gains momentum, stampeding ahead down the stretch, determined to win the race. Mentally mangled, fragile and broken, thoughts tangled like thorns, sown from the wicked rose bush of scorn, the same thorns worn by the Holy Son, entwined with the vines of skepticism, twisted darkness, venomous vipers vibrating viciously, tumultuous torment, the torrent of turmoil, those demons tugging. Why won't they let go? Anguish and anger, frustrations festering. The aggravation, agitations became rageful, worse than a Terminator. My mind like a machine, destructive. Not even Optimus Prime could stop me. Damnation, damn me. Doom descends, devouring destiny. Evoking fear through crevices. This avalanche of confusion, the devil's playground. Those swings propelling my thoughts back and forth. The carousel spinning faster and faster, blurring my perception, lost in the vortex of my own deception. Monkey bars twisted like the devil's spine, a merry-go-round of mayhem, the seesaw of sorrows, teeter-totter, a pit of quicksand buried beneath the dark, a prisoner of my own racing thoughts. Raging riptides of resentment in prison, chained by chaos within my mind. Each thought, a wicked impulse pulsating on my sanity, the weight of conscience, an arduous task. Shattered pieces, shackled fragments, my thoughts in the speckles of sharded glass. The intricacies of self, no reflection. The desolate stare in a state of trance. My neurons not sparking. Those jumper cables didn't send a spark. The wicked crescendo, this maddening innuendo, determined to dominate and devour. That anxious feeling of wanting to remember, the cliffhanger, where I'm scaling walls without a harness, left dangling from the rope of regret. These revving engines accelerating the distance. Under my hood, the growls of rumble, whizzing bullets with wrathful wings ricocheting projectiles. From the barrel's mouth, pounding drums beat, earth shaking, reverberating, the vibrations of thunderous boom, intense pulsations pulsating. These tangled webs of silken threads created by silent architects, of intricate patterns, weaving secrets as delicate strands, ripples roaring, radiating rage, skipping stones on water, mighty missiles propelling a wrathful trajectory. Water rips on wrestles and wrestles as stones slam the surface, clicking and clacking, the clattering of chaos. Rolling my fate, the tumbles and twists. A 7 or 11 didn't land for me. As you can see, I'm all over the place. Can't keep a thought because another keeps stepping in the way. My thoughts like tornadoes leaving aftermath. The cyclones of thoughts, chaos, creating catastrophes. This ceaseless torrent bound to the clutches. My mind has become a battleground. This battle I fight within myself. Poem.
Ooh, Oof, god damn. Can we get some fire emojis in the comments, please? Oh man, fantastic fucking piece. First of all, that alliteration was fucking on fire, dude.
Thank
That
you.
alliteration was just off the fucking charts. And then the metaphors. And I was just thinking, I was actually thinking, man, she's all over the place with these metaphors. She's like, she's from here, but she's painting such clear pictures, but she's jumping from one like clear, vivid image to another clear, vivid image. And then you actually commented on the fact that you're like, as you can see, my mind's all over the place. And it's like, and it kind of reminded me of my speaking of demons, where I'm like, well, as you can see, me and my demons don't always agree, you know? Yeah.
When I wrote
But
when I
your
wrote this piece, when I wrote this piece, I was literally having racing thoughts that day.
that was,
So
I
this is
mean, but
basically what came out.
to be able to coalesce them into such a into such vivid imagery and in such wonderfully written rhymes, or not, I guess there was a little bit of rhyme scheme in it. It was more of a spoken word, but just to be able to take your racing thoughts and your the chaos that's been going on in your mind. I believe you had a line in there where you were commenting on the chaos creates
Catastrophe.
right, but the catastrophes that come out are your poetry, your work, your art, and it explodes in such a, it's like a firework, it's still an explosion, it's still a bomb, but it explodes in such a beautifully and structured way, because there's a structure to it. The chaos is able to create beauty. And I love your metaphors. The first one that hooked me was the thorns, and then how it carried into the rose bush bar. And then I loved relating to your mind to a machine, with the Terminator and the Optimus Prime bar. That was dope. But there were so many. It's hard for me to like pick out all of them, because there was just so many vivid imagery painted with metaphors, and it was just like the rip tides, and the imagery of you sinking under with these rip tides, and like, and I could just feel the emotion of that. I could feel that this piece was written from the perspective of someone who's in a rushing riptide with rocks all around them, and they're struggling to stay above water and not smash their head against the rock. And it made me feel that on such a deep level. Yeah, you painted that was one of the many metaphors that made me feel the angst and the anxiety and the pressure of this piece. That was just fantastic. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring these other artists up to see what they thought.
Definitely.
Lawrence, what do you think?
Well, just like last time, your poetic pose is just phenomenal. That it just reaches every aspect of any person's life. It speaks volumes for today's culture. I mean, it's lively with metaphors, as you were saying, and I could just see my mind scattering all over the place when she was reading it, and that happens a lot. Thanks to medicine, it's grounded. But very good work, very, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Elemental.
Listen, as the host mentioned, that alliteration was heat for real. It started cooking in there for real. I heard it too. Even sounded very similar to a line that I've used before when you hit those V's. So really, really dope. My mind like a machine, destructive. Yeah, that was hot, man, for real. Like that was gonna sit with me. And then of course how you brought Prime into that. The merry-go-round of mayhem. I thought that was really dope. The seesaw of sorrow was pretty dope too. And then you threw the dice game in there, right? 7 or 11 didn't land for me, right? Kind of going into how it's a gamble sometimes, So really, really dope how you went in, added multiple techniques into that to get that point across. That was really dope.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Skedaddle.
That was like Dylan said, the way you were hopping back and forth, like from different scenarios, but they were lining up so well that it was painting the pictures, was beautiful. And I'm stuck on the I can't completely reiterate it, but the demons tugging on me, and then the expressing the rage and anger that comes from that. At least that's how I like interpreted it. I have never related to a piece so much more in my life. Just being irrationally angry all the time and not wanting to be. Like,
Right.
beautiful. Loved it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Phenomenal. And that's honestly one of my favorite things about you as an artist is just you makes some of the most relatable pieces. And that's when I listen to, I told you earlier, I listen to country, you know, Mozart, whatever. And when I look for is art that speaks to me. It's not about the beat or the melody, which is very important. Don't get me wrong, but to me, it's about what are you saying? What's how does it? And I mean, honestly, I even mentioned, you know, Beethoven, how he's just able to say 1,000 words with no words.
Right.
It's art is about how it makes me feel and how I relate to it, and somehow without even like hearing any of Beethoven's words, you know, obviously he was deaf, but I know what he's feeling. I can feel his angst. I can feel the
Right.
you know what I mean. And you just do a phenomenal job of delivering the feelings in your pieces and making them so relatable to other people. So
Thank you.
thank you,
guys.
phenomenal job.
Thank you
Uh,
guys so much.
we'll catch you again in a bit for your second piece.
All righty.
All right, guys. Now for the moment I've all been waiting for. We got our newest guest in the building. His name's Elemental. He's a poet and a host of a show very much like this one. Fantastic show. I've been on a couple times now. He does it every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to RSVP, you can go to nuyorican.org. That's NUYORICAN.org. And you can RSVP starting. So if you're going on the Thursday show, it would be Wednesday at midnight. The tickets go out on that website, and you can RSVP as an artist. Or if you don't catch it in time, there is a good luck round at the end where artists who weren't able to RSVP can pop in. So make sure y'all go check that out. That's on Zoom and Facebook every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can also follow him on Facebook at Elemental the Poet. He's just a phenomenal host. I haven't seen him do any art yet, so I'm really excited to see him do that. But just phenomenal host. And I hope to honestly be as great a host as him one day. So my props, brother. And just, man, one of the first thing that I can think of is I just have to ask him how he remembers people's lines so well, because that's just something that I have. I mean, maybe it's the ADHD, maybe it's the weed, but that's something I have a hard time doing, is remembering like line for line people's bars, and he's just phenomenal at that. So yeah, make sure you all go check him out on his show. He's a great host. Let's play his flyer and get him up here. Hey man, what's up?
Get it right. What's good? What's good? How y'all doing?
All right, I'm doing good tonight. Like I said, this is my free space, you know, where we can all just chill and relax and be ourselves. So it's a good space to be.
Absolutely. Anytime that you can get creatives together to share their art, to talk about their art, it's a good thing, man. This is how the world moves forward, thanks to creative beings.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's like I said, that's the thing I love the most about what you do is that that your show, much like this one, is all about connecting with other artists and reaching out and doing what Lawrence was saying in his poem and coming together to fight off the darkness and the evil with our art. And I love that you're on that same mission. So props,
It's
man.
so important, man. I appreciate that. It's important because poetry saved my life, right? Um, at a time that I was so dark, right? Coming out of some of the worst things that I have ever thought and felt, and poetry was there. So it's a lot to it. I owe poetry so much. That's why you get the intensity. That's why you get the passion. That's why you get all the emotion that pours into what I do as a host for my community, because I love it. It saves lives.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is the very essence of it. Is it's using what saved your life to try to do the same for someone else. And I realized that at a very young age, the first thing I ever wrote was like a little self-help book. And this little girl, I mean, I was only in fourth grade, but she must have been in like second. She was younger than me, and she came up in tears because I handed it out around the school, and she came out in tears, just saying that it was like just helped her so much and it changed her life. And just from a very young age, I understood that like I have a gift. With great power comes great responsibility. And you have a gift and you have the responsibility to use that gift to help people. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's why, for me, I take what I do so very seriously, right? Like you said, right? Because now I am, in the hosting seat. A lot of people don't get a chance to hear me rip as much anymore. But there was a time, man, that every single week I was right there, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Waiting for the list to come out, hoping that I got up there. You know what I mean? Hoping that my name was going to be on that list because I got some new shit. Like, it was like that for me, man. Every single week, like I said, it really saved my life because it was one of those things that was consistent for me. I could count on it every single week. It was going to be there. It was going to be there. And so that's the same thing that I try to do and provide for our community is I know the world is chaotic. I know so many things are going on, but there is one day that you can go in there and let it all just, poetry can handle it. So I tell my students, poetry can handle it. For real. Whatever it is, poetry can handle it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel actually exactly the same way. So a couple years ago, my friend used to do like live streams. She's been a guest on the show, Queen's Crown, amazing poet. But she did a little live streams. She wasn't doing them anymore, but a friend of hers started doing her own poetry show. So I had hopped on there, and it was every Wednesday night. I was hop on there every single Wednesday night. I would promote her stuff, and me and her got really close, and I would help promote her stuff and all that stuff. And it, eventually I was like, hey, I think I could do that. Like it wasn't like hubris. It wasn't me thinking just like, oh, I'm better at this. Not, I just think the more people that do it, the better. And I think that I could do that. And when I started my show, and this is something she doesn't do on hers, is like you were saying, you don't get the opportunity to hear her spit a lot. But I make sure I do one piece at the end of every show, to keep myself, going, and just to show everybody else, because first and foremost, before I'm a host, I'm an artist. But no, I definitely get what you mean about like, since I've started, I mean, before I started, I was putting stuff out on YouTube too. But since I've started the show, I haven't been recording much. I haven't been, actually putting my solo workout on YouTube as much because I've been focused on, lifting everybody else up. But yeah,
Facts. Man. Facts. I got to about, I think, just over 100 videos on my YouTube. Just me spitting poems week after week after week, man. About 100, a little over 100. And then I got, into hosting, and then it's just like I'm not spitting as much anymore. So, but every week I was spitting a poem, and then I would snag it and put it on my YouTube. Like, I'm telling you, man,
Right.
it's just work. You know what I mean? But those are footprints. You know what I mean? Footprints throughout the years of, my evolution, as an artist, getting to this, and then what comes next.
Yeah, definitely. I feel you. So, I mean, we pretty much covered it in there, but if there's anything else you want to tell us about yourself and what you do, by all means.
What I do, I really speak for the people who cannot, not the voiceless, right? The voiceless, being voiceless is a choice. I'm speaking for the people who cannot, who did not have the opportunity to speak, who could not say those things. So I say those things. I am a social justice poet through and through. My father used to tell me I was born in the wrong generation. He said I would have fit right in with the Black Panthers. But then I had a friend of mine, shout out Prop. He said, actually, you're born in the right generation because they need to hear it more than they did, because they had all of them, but this generation doesn't have it. So we have you. I'm an educator. Poetry is part of who I am. Creativity is what I am, really, in so many different forms. But I love educating people through my work. And now I'm an actual educator. So it's kind of weird. But I love enlightening people. And I love words. I always have loved words. So and I enjoy calling devils to their faces. So
Yeah. I feel that. It's nothing better than calling out the snakes in the grass.
Man, for real.
Sometimes you gotta cut the grass to see the snakes.
You gotta cut the grass, man. You gotta mow it low too. You know what I mean? Because they get low on you. So yeah, man.
I feel you. So what's the first piece you're doing for us tonight?
This is one of the pieces that I do on stage sometimes. I had this idea once for a song that I heard in a movie, but then I was just thinking about it. So this is for the Nancy Sinatra fans in the world. This is just how I see what America does and has done when it comes to just a song. So it's my interpretation, really, of a song, if you will.
Cool. What's it called?
Bang, bang.
All right, cool. I'll drop myself out here and let's get to
it. Peace, and blessings, all you beautiful creative beings. As he said, my name is Elemental, host of the online open mic every Thursday, hosted by the New Eureka Poets Cafe, the legendary New Eureka Poets Cafe. This piece really inspired by people who lost their lives unnecessarily based on power. This is Bang Bang. Bang, bang, they shot you down. Bang, bang, that awful sound. When gray matter mattered less than can of Crisco, cooking crooked schemes made dream makers infamous with a bullet, plus a bullet spit from twisted tungsten tongue lashing leviathans with hell for brains, serving sulfur stuffed shotgun serenades, the silent sonic boom and lungs that coalesce the people into belligerents, because they said there will be no Black Messiah. Bang, bang. Came cries from front row massacre of Muhammad's master minister, Mr. Mayhem, part messenger, all magnet of millions, made moments monumental, making super soldiers from super fruit harvested from poplar trees, resting on restless spirits, relishing in raucous excuses to call devils, and devilish vernacular. Some called blasphemy, he called gospel. By way of Garvey, they called rabble rousing. Tying and lies, lying and lied that lie in straight lines behind mandated sanctions to placate philanthropists who used to play bang bang, marksmen in stark sheets who creep under safety of same darkness they despise, flying at Oswald angles of magic sorcery, using timelines to tie binds into knots not meant for Black men, tangled in bloody spangled banner, waving glorious old glory and glorified gory stories of America Cosmos wanted. I mean, Cucamonga cracker killers. I mean, fugitive slave actors and scenes behind Mumia style dreams at maximum security. Truth to conspiracy. Bang, bang, choo-choo train, chitty, bang, bang. Lorraine Motel and country music, country twang, white slang for what the dark I have gets a day pass for trespassing on good Christian land with change in hand that counts like skin. I mean, these damn black heathens, I mean, can of operating just outside of right wing's hierarchy, navigating tragedies through Green Book lookout for folks in Killer Clan country where they Earl Ray sunrise into shots of good morning with a splash of gunpowder and cowardly casings of what they consider patriotism. That awful sounds a lot like 21 gun salute ringing a new colorblind Jim Crow plantation christening. Bang, bang, gang, gang made godfathers of good fellas with greedy gangster gullets, guaranteed gargantuan gambits of gentrification from greatest generation general or grand imperial drug dealer, death dealer that starts every negotiation with bang, bang. So Django, let that thing go. They wrangle Markburg pump action Winchester M16 from revolver spin the barrel click and lessons that ring out riot sparkers with savage arms. Hear the desert eagles screaming on dusty streets, high as noon, snorting powder from Remington barrels, using firing pins to scribe their Beretta-based narrative. Bang, bang, their hating shot you down. Gunsmoke that reeks of the American dream. Peace, y'all.
God damn. Gunsmoke that reeks the American dream. Fucking phenomenal. I got just it's gonna sound like a broken record, but I got all the same stuff to say that I did about Nia's piece. Just the alliteration and the imagery was just off the charts phenomenal. Just such vivid fucking imagery and such amazing alliteration. And I loved how each line was felt like a bullet in and of itself. Each line had a fucking impact to it. And you're out here calling out the government. You're calling out, the founding fathers, I love the, and I can't quote it exactly as well as you would be able to, but the glory, the glory to gory, our gory past, you related those and
glorified gory stories of America.
Yes,
Cosmos wanted.
Yes. I love the juxtaposition of those, and I love how not just the wordplay of glory into gory, but how they are juxtaposed as thoughts and ideals or whatever, and how I have a couple pieces. The one that comes to my mind right off the top of my mind is my Thanksgiving piece. I talked a lot about how our country is built off the backs of people who we enslaved and tortured and stole from, and and the list just goes on and on. And me and my friend, I think it was it you and me, Brandon, were we talking about how there's not a single race that hasn't in human history that hasn't been enslaved, not a single race. And that's just, it's crazy to me, because the worst kind of violence, I think, is violence against each other, and not only violence against each other, but the type of violence where you look at the person you're committing it against as not human, the type of violence that causes us to think that we're better humans, or we're more of a person than someone else, and diminish someone else's entire life. And because it diminishes not only their life, but their mother and father who brought them into this world, everything they've done in their life, everything they were like when you put someone at a lower level than you're diminishing everything that they've done and everything that they could do. And by doing that, you're doing that to yourself, because you're limiting your own perspective and you're limiting your own view on the world. and you're limiting the people that you will let into your circle. And like we were talking about earlier, the more people we let into this circle, the more we can heal and the more we can build. And the first step of that is accepting one another. And yeah, just that was just a phenomenal piece. I think it needs to be heard at not only every Poets Cafe ever, but every freedom rally, every BLM rally, just every rally and protest. There's that just phenomenal piece. Phenomenal piece.
Appreciate you, man. Truly.
I'm gonna bring these other artists up to see what they thought. Ladies Crucible, what do you think? Go ahead.
Let me just say the wordplay, the schematics, the alliteration was just sick with it. And I got to agree. The fact that you who basically just called out everybody that needed. If they didn't hear you the first time, I think they definitely hear you now. Cause baby, yeah, that was yes. I love that. What was the line you said? The gamble of the gambit.
Gargantuan gambits of gentrification.
Yes. That was like a chill. It was like, ooh. That was like taking a hammer and just hitting the nail dead on the head. Like, yeah, got him. Definitely dope piece. Dope, definitely. That definitely needs to be heard everywhere.
Oh yeah. Scatter, what'd you think?
I thought you were about to serenade us, and then you started punching us in the fucking face with some real shit. As she said, the way you worded it was awesome. I'm having a hard time recalling any of the actual phrases because it was so punchy in the facey.
Yeah, I told you he's so good at that. How does he do that so well?
Yeah. But I got the message, and it was strong. It was amazing.
Yeah, Lawrence, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I have to agree with what she said. Is I was just waiting for this beautiful song to just come along, and then boom, it was like a bomb, and then my mind just kept like filming a movie. Every line that you said was just another scene in my mind that just came on the screen, and I was like, "Whoa, is this a journey or is this a run?" And it was very powerful, and I felt like you were telling me a movie. I mean, you were basically the words translated to my mind, and I saw everything play out in front of me. So it was very, very good.
Yeah, phenomenal. And then just the repeated. I mean, each line was already a punch in the face, like she said, but the bang, like the repeated hook of bang bang, just enforced that fucking. It enforced the bang bang. Yeah. Just phenomenal piece, man. Thank you. We'll catch you again in a few for your second piece. All right, guys, let's go and bring us back around to Miss Skedaddle for your second piece. What's this one called?
I actually have a question. Are we doing 2 or 3 pieces today?
We were gonna do 2 per artist, but
okay.
I only had 2. I only had 2 from you saved on here.
Okay. So then we'll do the one you saved. It's called the eye.
The septic eye. I got you. Well, also tell us about it. This first of all, just my first impressions. This feels like something out of like an early 2000s like Cartoon Network or like a Ninja Turtles or a Ben 10 kind of vibe is what I'm getting.
So this is actually a piece of fan art from a comfort YouTuber that I grew up on called Jacksepticeye.
Okay, I've heard the name. Yep.
I've been going through a little bit of a rough pit recently, and that's brought me some art blocks. I was hoping drawing some comfort people would help that. So his icon is the septic eye, because when stop it. Sorry, my cat's assaulting me. When he was younger, he got hit in the face with a soccer ball, and it got his eye all infected. So they called him Jacksepticeye.
Okay.
and he just helped me through a lot.
That's fucked
growing
up.
up.
Now I went my whole like I've heard that name a million times. Never. I thought it was like because when you say it, it sounds like septicai, but like he never septic eye. That's fucked up. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
A mean nickname.
He rocked it though. He liked it.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's what I mean. Even with YouTubers, that's their art form, and the most important thing about your art form is taking your flaws and running with them and making them part of who you are. So
and I was a kid who grew up on the like I was raised by the internet. So
yeah, no, a lot of people are gonna say. Unfortunately, it's getting to a point where more people are alive that were raised by the internet than aren't.
then
You
not
know,
yeah.
not get it within the next 10 or 20 years, it'll be at that point where, people won't even really remember what it was
We'll
like.
forget what a
Um,
Nokia is.
and I was right on the cusp of that. Like I was at, but here's the thing is my mom was very strict. Like I wasn't allowed to make social medias. I wasn't allowed to do all that shit. So I kind of did grow up without the internet because of the parenting I had. I was outside doing stuff, like not like a 90s baby, even though I was an early 2000s baby, I was outside doing stuff like a 90s baby because of the mom I had.
Same.
But yeah.
See, the only part I was the internet that raised me was like YouTube and stuff because I was in the same boat. The only social media I was allowed to have was Facebook, and it was ran by my mom because my cousins and other family lived out of state. Like, I get that part.
You remember when you had to be 13 to make a Facebook account?
Yes.
You actually no, that
You
used to
still
be like a
do.
well, everybody just used a fake birthday. It's not that hard. It's just but
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about this piece a little bit. What did you start with pencil? Did you use entirely it looked like colored pencil or
First I started with graphite and then like lined it, and then I colored with Crayola pencils. I want to get a better set of colored pencils because though Crayola is great, it's just not artist quality. You can see
yeah,
how
they're
in the wall it's scratchy and stuff.
fucking big we got let's blame big color or big crayon or whatever. one of those big companies. That's who to blame.
Fuck you,
It's
Big
off if
Crayola.
it's like that with everything though. These name brands are like what people
Shit.
go to because they think they're the best because they're the name brands. But like, I mean, fucking, shit that that big bag cereal. I could take that big bag cereal, that cheap bag cereal over fucking regular Frosted Flakes or fucking whatever any day, dude.
The best art set I've ever gotten was a $15 120-piece art set off fucking Amazon. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes though, like, and some of the best stuff that I've like I recorded some stuff that sounds really pretty good, I think, on my YouTube channel. Then I did it with my phone. Sometimes like you don't need the most professional fucking, but and also then like I was saying with the name brands, it's fucking it's big pharma and big crayon coming after us with big tobacco in the lead, and they're taking over.
for real. No, it's crazy. It fucking like I think I got the like big pack of the Crayola and it was like 25 fucking dollars. What?
Yeah, it's just more price for less quality, actual quality.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen his logo that you were talking about, but so is it just the eye or is it the tank too, or where'd you come up with the idea for the tank?
In
Well, I
the
mean, it's
like
like
in his like YouTube profile picture, it's just the eye, but in his old like I mean, he might still have it, but in his old videos in the, like his outro was Sam, but that's what the mascot's name is, was Sam bouncing around the tank to the music.
oh, okay, all right, cool. Well, I mean, obviously that was kind of it's a quote unquote septic tank.
Yes, that's exactly what
But
it is.
the reason I think it's probably because of all the green. Why it reminded me of like a Ninja Turtles or like very very Ben 10, very like a alien type
Mhm.
like. But I'm saying Ninja Turtles because of the green ooze that turn them into what they are.
I actually never watched the Ninja Turtles.
Anything there's been. Are you? Oh God. All right.
I think I
Well,
might have
that's a whole
watched like a
nother.
really old like
You've never
live
had a
action
burrito.
version, but
You just had your first burrito, and you've never seen the Ninja Turtles. You know the Ninja Turtles have been around. My dad watched the Ninja Turtles when he was younger. My dad's almost 50.
it just never interested me. I was watching Steven Universe and like other gay rocks.
Oh, and not no burritos and no. That's all right. We're gonna have to make a whole podcast. I'll bring you on for a deep cuts, and we'll just talk about all the things that you haven't experienced, and we'll make a list, and I'll help you out. But
Alright.
I know it's our ADHD. We keep jumping back and forth between chatting and this piece, but I did want to say I really like the shading. I like how it starts darker at the top, and then gets lighter, like as if like it's a clear kind of substance. You can kind of see through it, and like,
I was trying to make it look like there was a light on the bottom.
oh, okay, so it's like, all right. My dad says, "Shut your mouth." I'm sorry. My dad is only 36. Is that okay? 36? 38. He's 38. Plus 10 years. Oh man, but yeah, no, dude, I love the shading. I love, as always, how your stuff looks 3D and like it's popping out at you. The white space in the eye, how you showed the glimmer, like the light reflecting off of the eye. That was clever. I like that.
It is half done, but we're not gonna talk about it.
Tell me about this rum. Does this rum have anything to tell about it, or did you just generically?
I just generically put it from because there's no like background in his logo, so I was like, shit. And then I half finished it because I don't know if I want to make that a metal like tool shelf or a wooden shelf with like figurines on it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and not that it needs it, but this is the type of piece that at any point you could take and add more to it, and
Yeah.
and that's you've a few of your pieces are like that. I've seen a few of your pieces where it's like, this looks like a world that you could expand upon. And that really speaks to you as an artist, being able to kind of create a world. What did my dad say?
13, but who's counting?
All right. But yeah, it speaks to you as an artist, how with just a visual, you're able to, create a, essentially do what a writer does, with fiction writing, and do world building and create a world and make me interested and want to step inside that room and see what's going on. What's, see what's connected to those pipes. I kind of just, is one of them meant to be a darker shade than the other?
Yes.
Yes.
One's
So
supposed
I
to be
mean,
like the dirty goop.
two different chemical, like, what I mean? I want to know who's controlling this system. Like it makes me intrigued and pulls me into the story of it. So yeah.
I got lore on it all. that's the dirty goop. Because he's in
Well,
septic juice.
septic juice. Ooh.
Yeah.
Fucking Brandon over. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring these other artists up here to see what they thought about it. Lady Crucible, what do you think?
I mean, you like really over here trying to like really tell my true age now, aren't you? Just throwing me on the spot like that.
Sorry.
Really just look.
Listen, I think I'm kind of a young in here, so.
Yeah, I'm old. Well, I ain't that old, but I'm old enough. Yeah. So.
You've seen Ninja Turtles though, right?
I've been watching Ninja Turtles since I'm gonna take you back to the old, Atari game when you used to go in the corner store, and I used to get in trouble because I used to spend all my allowance money on that one game just so I can be on top. Like, yeah. And my grandkids now watch it today, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a multi-generational show. Like, how can you not? But no, sorry. Do you want to give any feedback on her eyeball, her septic eye here? Get that title back up here, Brandon. Thanks, man.
I think it's dope. Honestly, the way that it's drawn, the attention to detail, right? It just reminds me of what we now know as a Nest or an AI, right? Kind of branching off to the rest of the house. Now this becomes the all-seeing eye.
Ooh, I never. Yeah.
You know, everything kind of runs through this central viewpoint. You know what I mean? And then everything else in the house kind of comes into that. So um, I know it's septic, right? I know you said septic eye, but it almost becomes like a third eye, right? Where you can't see is where this third eye can, right? And that's just really cool. As far as the turtles go, like I've seen every iteration of them. Every iteration from them being, big creatures to new cartoons and multiple different iterations of what the turtles have done. They're going nowhere. Trust me.
When I was younger, I remember watching with my uncle Matty. He had it on. It was this like really old live action version where they were kind of in suits. But I only remember like a picture of it in my brain. So
It
like I
is.
guess technically I watched one when I was like 7.
That doesn't count. That's Lawrence, what do you think?
Yeah, I've just listened to everybody's feedback and interpretation of it, and I definitely saw it as an appliance for your house. Something comes in, it goes through a transformation, and it leaves, and it makes your life so much better. So to me, it was a great concept to like, oh, this is futuristic. It could be something in our house that makes the air cleaner, or turns our trash into lights or something. It was very, very good. Um, People said it's attention to details. The shading, I liked it because it shows that transformation, something coming in, something going out. So that was a really good job. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, phenomenal. And like Elemental was saying, I want to see like the of like you created like a biomechanical engineering fucking eye that can that
I
yeah,
might
like
have
I
to
was
make
saying,
a whole system now.
the world building you can do with just a simple picture is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Thank you once again for being on the show. Stick around till the end. So if you can, if you're not too tired or you got something to do, but if not, thank you for being on the show. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you again sometime.
I'll stay on as long as I can. It's
All
getting a
right.
little late, but
I feel you. I feel you. All right, guys. That's going to bring us back around to Mr. Lawrence here. How you doing?
Good. Excellent. So the second one here is called Silence of the Soul. And I don't know if anybody will know this song, maybe, but it goes back into the 70s. Simon and Garfunkel, Song of Silence.
I'm not familiar with the song, but I am familiar with the band.
Yeah. So for me, when I was younger and hearing that song, it was like it took me to a tranquil place because it was so soft. It just carried you through to a different existence to me. And listening to that just helped me to be calm and kind of drift with it, if you will. And recently, listening to that song on Spotify, it inspired me to write this poem.
All right. Well, I'll drop myself out of here. And we got a lot of poems inspired by music tonight. I'm noticing that. I like that. I really like that. Cool. I'm gonna drop myself out of here and let you get to it.
All right. Thank you. Silence of the soul. In the hollow of my soul, I hear the song of silence, a gentle whisper, a quiet tone that only I can hear alone. It's the sound of emptiness, a void that's deep and wide, a place where words are useless and only feelings resides. The sounds of silence speak in a language all of its own, a voice that's soft and clear, that only the heart can know. It's the sound of peace and calm, a refuge from the storm, a place where worries fade and fears are let to norm. So let the sounds of silence wash over you, and let the peace bring us together again and set our spirits free.
I like that, man. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Please get some more fire emojis in the comments. Thank you. Yeah, dude, phenomenal, phenomenal fucking piece. It reminds me actually of a lot of a piece that I have. It's called Sound of Silence. And it's about much the same topic, in how, like most of the stuff that I write, it's at 3 a.m. when everyone's asleep, because there's something about the sound of silence that is deafening.
Yes.
And it is, and the sound of silence is, in my, like, the way I talk about it is that the sound of silence is definite, is just loud enough to deafen out the voices in my head,
Yeah.
and let me sort through them, or at least cast them out into the silence. Because when you're walking around every day and you got everybody talking to you, you got music playing, you got this and that and whatever, those voices don't have a chance to speak. And I am not personally actually diagnosed with schizophrenia. I'm not schizophrenic, but I talk to a lot of people who are, quite a few of them on this show. And they tell me that I have, though I'm not schizophrenic, I have a very good understanding of that kind of mentality and what it's like to have those voices just rattling around your head. And the thing is, when you got all that, sound going on, those voices can't speak. They can't tell their truth. They can't speak their truth. And so sitting in the silence for me allows me to let those voices scream out into the fucking void. Yeah, I really like that. I really like how you illustrated the sound of silence.
Right.
In your piece. That was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah. And once again, just the writing, the scheme of the words, just everything phenomenal. I'm gonna bring these other artists up to see what they thought about it. Lady Crucible.
Man, when I tell you again, short but very powerful. I'm talking about impactful. You just you send that chill. Your words is just it's like terrifying, but at the same time you still sitting at the edge of your seat because you want more. And it's like, man, that piece right there was just very impactful, like very just.
Thank you.
Yeah. Skedaddle.
Like she said, simple, sweet, beautiful, still a strong message. My brain's melting, so again, having troubles recalling the words, but I'm probably
Yeah, we gotta
hop off
get
after
Elemental to
this.
teach us how he remembers people's lines. I was starting to think he has like some kind of transcript app where you can get the transcript of any conversation or
go.
whatever. But man, he's just
No,
too
he
good.
has it.
He's just too good.
He's always recording.
Yeah. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to record. But what I do is I'm constantly, every single line that hits me, I write it down. Right?
Yeah.
Like I stay on top of it every single time. Right? Like I try to be the best listener in the room. Right? Even before I was a host, I always try to be the best listener in the room, because it's those little things, right? As a writer, as a poet, we hide things in there for other writers or for other poets, right? And when
Yes.
you do that and somebody catches it, you're like, I'm in the right place.
Yes. And that's why, bro, that is why you were my favorite host that I've seen. Outside of Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel's the man. But my favorite host, because you do such a good job at that. Such a fucking good job at that. And that's like really what I aspire to do, and that's especially from both sides as a host and as an artist. Is you're right, you know, especially me. I leave those little tidbits, those lines that I don't think anyone's gonna catch. And I mean, Thursday night when I was on your show, you caught oh fuck, what was that? Oh, the girl who loaned me a pencil where I said I saw the razor blades in her teeth and the bullets in her teeth and the razor blades in her voice. And no one, and I mean no one, has caught that one particular line since I wrote it 7 years ago. And it is one of my favorite fucking lines in the piece, and I'm just so grateful you finally caught it. But yeah, you're one of the.
Her voice.
Hey man, do it. I again, I love what we do, right?
I don't think I've ever heard that piece.
And in your piece, right? You said the sound of emptiness, right? When you start talking about the sound of emptiness, it just speaks of self-reflection, right? That song of silence, it is really, to me, it's the song of regrowth, of transformation, right? You said one only the heart can know, right? When you're speaking with your heart, then yeah, things get translated a little bit differently. They come in different this way, but when they come in this way, they're translated very different. And then a place where worries fade. Wise man once told me you should never worry because it takes away your ability to problem solve, right? And anytime you go back and you reach back into the musical repertoire of people who wrote songs for different reasons at different times, right? You mentioned Bach and Beethoven, right? Simon and Garfunkel, right? CCR, Peter, Paul, and Mary. All those people who wrote those songs at that time wrote them for a reason. So finding them and bringing them back and almost translating them, right? Because we don't speak the same language anymore, but translating them into a message that people can hear and can receive today, that's powerful.
Yep. Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Phenomenal message, phenomenal piece, phenomenal writing. Just thank you for sharing with us again. Thanks for being here again. If you can, stick around to the end of the show. If not, it's been great having you, and we can't wait to have you again.
I'm gonna do
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
It was nice seeing everyone.
Blessings, y'all.
Have a good night, Skedaddle. Thanks for being here.
Good night, everybody.
Peace out. All right, guys. That's gonna bring us around. Oh, bring us around. Lady Crucible, what you got for us?
Hey, I'm on my second piece called The Path to Greater.
The Path to Greater. Okay, I sense some uplifting spirits here. I sense some as my friend and fellow poet, poetless Shakespeare would say, some on me. Brandon, can I get an on me up here? Some on me energy. This year's slogan for Lost Boys and for life is on me, and that means that everything you do is on you, and you know, it's about self-care and lifting yourself up, and that's what I get from this title. So I'm excited to hear it. The Path to Greater. Draw myself out of here.
This backpack of burdens, holding all this backpack of burdens, holding my only belonging. I'm on a journey to self-discovery. The possibilities appearing before me. I see a path to greater, but we'll get to that later. I wandered lost for so long, trapped in this dark void. Those demons finally got a hold. My memory distorted. Did I bump my head? No understanding to who I really am. Close to the edge, this chasm of blackness, having to sit down with this darkness. Took a deep breath, because I needed answers. Yet these shadows keep clawing at me. I continue to move forward. What challenges will I face? For this, I must lean on my faith. My mustard seed finally been sown, uprooted from dirt. I'm that diamond in the rough. These obstacles I shall overcome. This anger and frustrations, trials and tribulations, the trepidation, tasting the bitterness and intoxicating elixir. littered with crushed dreams and broken bodies, a wasteland of the forgotten. Monologues didn't miraculously move mountains. This treacherous storm, this ain't home no more. Trying to make it on my own. Those sidewinded roads leading me to where I didn't want to go. Somehow I ended up on a yellow brick road, letting this darkness permeate every fiber of my being. No longer the self I thought I once knew. Now this darkness dancing on my tongue, swallowed it whole, regurgitated its bones. A warrior suited with my own art, found equilibrium in the chaos. Chasing elusive dreams, I'm crafting my legacy, transcending space and time, narrating the story of my life. So much I have sacrificed, a kaleidoscope of emotions, a visionary poet, my eyes wide open. Now I was told what don't kill me only makes me stronger. I am a superwoman, but deep down, my powers were fading. Stumbled upon this path to greater. No flowers on my casket today. See, poetry became my savior. Told me I was worth saving. I was drowning in sorrows, my tears cascading no tomorrow. Had to put that shit to rest. Enjambments and end stop. Tired of this darkness playing on my top. Welcome to the land of fuck around and find out. Mental notes like stepping stones. A tightrope balancing between joy. Adding layers to my voice. This path to greater, my poetic choice. Those demons no longer tugging on my sleeve. Finally, I can breathe. Whoo, they finally let go of me. I fought until I couldn't fight no more. My pen started slicing like Michonne's sword. I don't want to be like this anymore. A constant test. Even though I was a mess, I proudly wore my S on my chest. I'll take that deep breath, standing amongst the best. This path to greater, I'm on it right now. Never thinking I could make it this far. Poem.
Ooh, goddamn. I like that. I like that. First off, man, I like the cadence of it. It's very the only word I can think of is choppy, but that makes it sound bad, not in a bad way. But it has this very like slow build up and then punchline delivery, punchline delivery, slow cadence to it. Very slow build up and then the kind of intellectual delivery punchline, man. And I just love how it fits the theme of kind of what we've been talking about all night and what I have been talking about my whole show that I've been doing it is using our inner darkness and using it to become something greater. You said a diamond in the rough. You said uprooted from dirt. That both of those things are, a diamond start like a diamond in the rough. It starts in this craggly dark cave and nobody even knows about it. It's forgotten. And a tree, right? Same way, starts underneath dark, damp earth. And it grows into this tall, beautiful thing. And I loved that imagery. I loved how you when you started it off, it started off with, your possibilities are appearing before you. You see a path to greater, but we'll get to that later. And then, by the end of the piece, you came back around and it was like, oh, I can finally breathe. I'm proudly wearing this S on my chest, and that line, I don't know when you wrote this piece, but I have a very similar line in a piece that I just wrote. And it, I forget the exact line of my own piece, but it's I love comic book references. I love the FS on the chest reference and how you know in the new, and a lot of people don't know this unless they are in the comics, but the S isn't an S, it's a symbol of hope. And on his planet it means hope. And I love how you used that imagery to, you know, kind of show the overall arcing like theme of the poem. You know, and how the S on the chest, I think the line that I said was like, this S on my chest doesn't mean I'm the best. It's just a symbol of hope when my life is a mess. It's me giving my all and no less till I take my last breath. You know what I mean? It's not about you being, it's not about you being the best. It's about you using the power you have to do your best, you know, and be the best that you can, you know. And you, like you said, you know, poetry became my savior. Told me that I was worth saving, you know. Poetry was your Superman, and now you are using that power to be everyone else's Superman, you know. You know, you just, that's what art is all about. That's what this not only this life, but everything we do as artists and our art form, and whether we're hosts or we're just artists who come on and perform, or if you're an artist who's just, you know, too shy and hasn't come on to perform yet or whatever, and you just write in the dark and in the sound of silence, we all are using that power to fight the darkness, and that makes us all one, you know. That makes us all you know, part of this collective community, this collective unit, you know. And it's a really beautiful thing to be part of that, to have that. But yeah, just phenomenal. And I love welcome to the land of fuck around and find out.
That's one of
And
my
how
favorite
that was, and how that was juxtaposed with earlier in the piece where it was welcome to the wasteland. What was it again? Welcome to the wasteland
of the forgotten.
Of the wasteland of the forgotten. Yeah. And how, and then by the end of the piece, it started in this dark place and transitioned into this hopeful place, and you juxtaposed it with welcome to the land of fuck around and find out. Like, I love that. And you know what? Superman might be a fucking you know, goody two shoes good guy, but you don't want, the guy could shoot lasers at his fucking eyes. You fuck around, you're gonna find out, you know. Yeah, no, phenomenal piece. Lawrence and Skedaddle had to go, but we'll bring Elemental up here to see what he thought about your piece.
Definitely.
Yo, that first of all, I caught the early line, right? The Grandmaster Flash Furious 5 line, right? Close to the edge, right? Anytime you find yourself up against that, right? It's gonna end up with broken glass everywhere. Okay. Like it's just how it go, right? Having to sit with all this blackness. Listen, that's why I do what I do, right? Because it was once so heavy. It was once so heavy that we couldn't even walk on the same side of the street as some people, right? You put your eyes on the ground when you talk to me, boy. So when you talk about those things, right? You talk about the mustard seed, right? This darkness dancing on my tongue, like that's beautiful to me, right? Speaking curses, right? With all heaven intended, right? Found equilibrium through the chaos. A visionary poet. I totally understand that, right? When you start telling stories in your poems, they don't stay poems. Right? They become experiences, right? I love the line, no flowers on my casket today. That's just dope right there. Like I could even see that being the title of a book, right? For me, right? Just no flowers on my casket today, right? There's a cat that I know in my community. His name is CC Arshagra. Shout out CC. And he has a song, and he says, I will not die today, right? I think I will not die today, right? But no, it's something about that, right? And then you know, like Lostboys said, right? Welcome to the land of fuck around and find out, like that right there. Oh man, that just sounds like somebody coming over the intercom. Welcome
Right.
to the
Welcome
land.
to the land of fuck around and find out. Next.
If you need your ass whooped, all you have to do is dial 1.
Right.
I
One.
love that
I
for
promise
real.
you.
Really heartfelt piece, and I appreciate you for being fearless enough to write it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
It really does
I
speak to your
definitely do.
fearlessness and your perseverance as an artist. One of the lines that I forgot to mention that really struck me, not be just because of the alliteration. Again, the alliteration is phenomenal. But I think it's your monologues did miraculously move mountains. And that was just a phenomenal play on words and just a phenomenal, again, it expressed what the essence of the piece is. You
Right.
using your art to move the fucking mountains that you have in your life, and using that power and that strength to keep pushing forward and keep persevering. And you demonstrated that phenomenally. That was great piece.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here again. If you can stick
All right.
around for me and Elemental's piece, that's great. If not,
I
it's
got
been
it.
great having
I
you.
got it.
All right, cool. All right. That being said, what you got for us?
So I changed gears. I was gonna do Mission Impossible poetry, but I think I'm gonna do I'm So Dope.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
So Dope. This was a challenge that came out by one of the world's greatest. Shout out Black Chakra. One of those things that he came out with, and he challenged people in 24 hours to write this poem. It came to me by way of another world's top poet. Shout out CP Mays. And this is like a 24-hour piece. And then this, kind of edited through there. But this is really so dope. And
All
I'm gonna
right.
get out your hair for real. I'm gonna get out your hair, man. All right. I've been dope since conception, grown from poppy seeds and mama's gardening, where phases turn sonnets, become smack soaked serotonin. There is no spoon pure enough to smoke blue magic in a revolutionary's body, talking that black righteous space shit, outcasted by flicks of pen deep as Nautilus. These jellyfish infested stanzas make plankton question quaalude induced coordinates in leagues of killer beings, make it bubble chemical, call it aqualung, another QP hydroponic 16 MB Mambian metaphors dream they'll love me in mornings after just a bump to get over that hump day and fly your ass to paydays. So American gangster slanging metric tons of Pfizer Frank White truth recycled, repackaged, and repurposed as extremist. Malcolm Little's last fix, the X in Pandora's boxes. I'm so dope. I cardiac arrest, CPR, respiratory repetition, squeezing life back into lungs while stealing it from the living. Sativa believer, chase dragons from opium den, scorpion pen, ken the shark's fin, overdose flow. I murdered a rock, injured every rolling stone not named Temptation, hospitalized a brick. I'm so dope, I make antidote sick. So oxy, I'm Xanny, nose candy, soft as cyanides, kissed with methadone methods. Think Heisenberg, Kalana pintails on chemtrails. I've been hailed the most addictive. I'm so dope. Oxytocin potency, spit dopamine. I'm dope. I'm dope. Fresh off the fentanyl patch with a reckless, restless tongue. Call it plug talk. Don't ever think you can throw words at wizards who bleed morphine, sweat coca leaves, and dream in cc's of alchemy. I'm so dope with it. I give the hopeless a fearless voice that's just as dope as the ancestors hoped. Peace.
God damn, bro. Fucking bars for days, man. I got a friend on here who I write with every once in a while, and he's just I'm gonna have to show him. He comes on the show every once in a while, or actually a lot of times, but he's a dope rapper, and Yeah, man, he's gonna go nuts when he hears you. Just you got fucking bars for days. You're saying write stuff down, and with her I did, and you know I was doing all right, and then you come in and it's just one fucking punchline after another fucking punchline, and I'm like halfway through writing another one when you're coming with another one, and it's like, goddamn, bro, god fucking damn, yeah. I mean, your rhyme scheme and your flow and the way you put your words together is just it's on a fucking it's on a technically on a professional level, not technically but on a technical level. It's just flawlessly and professionally done. I love the dopamine bars, which I couldn't keep up with fast enough to write, like I'm saying, but I'm so dope I make antidote sick. um I'm so dope. Oxytocin spit. Oh, dude, what was it? Poets who spit in cc's of alchemy. That caught me way off guard. I was like, cc's of alchemy. God damn. And the first bar that caught me though that I really liked was as deep as the Nautilus. Because I'm a deep fiction reader. I read everything from Lord of the Rings to and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is probably not something a lot of people of my generation read. But and
they would, yeah.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is one of my favorite fucking movies of all time. But yeah, I caught the Captain Nemo bar. And how it led into that, and then how it led into the jellyfish bar. It was just the way you plan your bars and how they lead into each other and how one imagery flips over into another imagery. It's just so phenomenal. Like that's the stuff that I love to play with in my writing, is how one concept can relate to another concept, and you know how you and then how it can be also a double entendre, deep as in the ocean, but deep as in emotionally, and have it be a double entendre at the same time as a reference, a double entendre, and just a fire bar that leads into another fire bar of the same quality and caliber. It's just phenomenal how you put your work together, dude. Just so good. So good.
That is very
You are so dope. You are the
I
definition of
appreciate
dope.
that, man. I appreciate
Really.
that. Those are all very intentional. Like I got a partner of mine. Shout out to Vulcan. We do those things. We talk about those things, right? We do go on those crazy trips around the universe and have those conversations, man. And he'll be like, "Oh shit, was that a triple entendre?" Like, I mean, like
Yeah.
I really do take the time. When I learned this craft, I was coming in and telling my mentors, like, I'm a writer. I've been writing my whole life. And then I did this poem, and my mentor was like, "Okay, you're not a writer anymore. You're a poet." So that's where I got that from, right? It wasn't this just happens to be my brand, right? My clothing brand,
Right.
but my mentors bestowed that upon me, right? They said, "Okay, you are a poet. These are world-class cats," right? And so I take that very seriously. You know what I mean? Ever since they bestowed that upon me, I've taken this nothing but serious, and when I write things like that, again, I love doing it. I love the power, the energy. I love it. But I always have to remember that I'm speaking for people who didn't have the opportunity to read, who
Right.
didn't have the opportunity to speak their mind, who wanted to say "the hell with you, kiss my ass" or whatever, but couldn't without the fear of retribution. So I say those things, all of that. I channel all of that through those things. So it's not just about me just, being dope. It's
Right.
me just, being the intoxicant, right?
I like that. I like that. The intoxicant that get flowing through people's systems, and yeah. And I mean they say that music can change the way you think, feel, your mood, your whole,
Oh,
reality.
oh yeah.
And same thing with poetry or really any art. It flows through your veins. I have a line I think I did this song not last time but the time before, where I say you know, where I talk about it flowing through my veins. And I think I might have mentioned it in a few of my songs, but yeah, that's really what it is music or poetry or whatever. It's art is a drug for me. You know, it is the best drug there is. You know, I smoke weed, but art is my drug of choice. You know, and you know, the writer's high is such a, like, we actually, I think I talked about it last week on last week's episode, but the writer's high is unparalleled to anything you'll experience, whether it's a hiker's high or you know, hard drugs. You know, to me, and I've done a lot of, you know, harder stuff. You know, I've never done heroin, but you know, well, I guess morphine counts. So, but I have experienced a lot of highs, and by far the intoxication that I get from art and from experiencing other people's art and their emotions and letting it flow through me and fuel my emotions is just unparalleled to anything I've ever experienced. So I like that. Intoxicant.
No
Yeah.
doubt about it. No doubt about it. I've been on stage for a very long time, different capacities, since I was in like middle school. But it's nothing like seeing your work land on people and actually seeing, you know, that energy kind of, you know, well up in them and seeing their body twist and turn like they're, you know what I mean, being what is it, just taken over, right, by some force, by some feeling, right.
Mm.
I love those looks, you know what I mean. I love being able to bring those things out of people, you know. Where most of the time, you know, I get off stage and people would just be like, oh my goodness, man, you had me like, it's like, good to me. That's the high, right? When you coming off stage and someone says, oh man, that line, right? That line. Or,
Yes.
you know, when you inspire someone says, oh man, I heard this cat say this line, and it, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's those things. There's nothing in the world like that. Nothing.
And that, like I said, we were talking about earlier, like that's the most phenomenal feeling. And that's why I like you so much, is when someone noted, it feels good. Like if you built a fence and everybody walked by your fence and nobody fucking said, hey, that's a nice fence, you feel a little shitty, right? You feel good when people notice all the hard work you put into everything. And
Yes.
for me, each line, each word is a piece in and of itself. I treat it like its own separate piece. Each line has the same amount of work and effort and thought built into it. You know, and so for someone, you know, you don't have to notice every brick in the wall, but you know, for someone to notice the wall, or point out that, oh, that one brick, you know, looks, you laid that brick very nicely, you know, and because I really do take there's not a single brick that I lay that's not, you know, done with the utmost care and perfection. And that's why I love about you. You do the same thing with your art. And it's been a fucking honor and a pleasure to see you finally spit something. Phenomenal pieces, dude. Phenomenal pieces. Bring Lady Crucible up real quick to see what she thinks.
Sure.
When I tell you, I'm just sitting over here in my head, like bars after bars after bars. Like I couldn't, my pen couldn't even keep up. I was just like, I just quit. Like,
what's up, Emmanuel?
The dopamine line. What was the? You had this one line that just really. When I tell you again, you just had bar after bar. I couldn't even keep up with. It was like, man, like, ooh. But she was bringing that heat, and like you said, everything, like the jellyfish. The first thing popped in my head was SpongeBob at first. But then it was like, no. It was like, no, let me take this. For some odd reason, the movie 7 Pounds popped up in my head.
Come on, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes, with the jelly in the bathtub. Yes.
Popped up in my head, and it was like, no. Okay, it was like, yeah. I'm just saying again, bars after bars after
Yeah, make
bars.
it bubble, chemical, right?
I'm talking about,
That's
man.
what connected the jellyfish back to it's
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people don't really they get lost between the other two. Most people don't really jump on the jellyfish part,
No, see,
but
when you mentioned the jellyfish, it was like, no, we can't take this. And see, I like thinking outside the box. So it was
absolutely.
like, yeah, it was like again, SpongeBob popped up, and it was like, yeah, no, that's too cartoonish.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, wait a minute, let me go over here real quick. Let me grab this. Wait a minute, and it just fits perfectly. It's like, yeah, that
Yo,
line within
something
itself is just.
I
something I
appreciate it.
forgot to mention earlier, about your last piece. I caught the Captain America bar. I caught the Super Soldier Serum bar. Yeah, and I was wondering,
Yeah,
have you seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the new show? No,
I have not,
I have.
not
because it
one.
reminded me. It reminded me because your piece, because of your piece, when you said that, it reminded me of that show. And that show was beautifully written. Obviously, Sam the Falcon, he's black and he's the new Captain America. And I don't want to misquote him, but he says something about, you don't think I know the weight that I'm carrying as a
Oh
black man when I pick up this shield.
yeah,
Yes.
When I pick up these stars and stripes, you don't think I know the weight that I'm carrying as a black man. And that I just wanted to point out that piece, your piece and that bar in that piece reminded me of that show.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I got you. I got you. That one right there, it's another little you talked about entendres. That line right there specifically speaks to a couple of things, right? It's making super soldiers from super fruit harvested from poplar trees,
Mhm.
right? Super soldiers, yes, from super fruit, because I'm talking about Malcolm super fruit, as in
Mm.
the Nation of Islam, as in the fruits of Islam, right? Harvested from poplar trees, going back to the Billie Holiday, right? Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. So now it's fruit from the poplar trees, resting on restless spirits, the ancestors, right, who are
Exactly.
growing this strange fruit.
oh,
Hell yeah, dude. God
that
damn,
right
there's
there.
layers to that shit. That's a
And
triple.
I
That's a
tell
All
triple.
of that
you,
just for one line. All of
That's a
that just for that
triple.
one line.
but look how many layers you peeled back with that though.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
That
I
was
mean,
just, yeah.
that's why I love this, right? Because I can do that, right? Because I can put those little things in there. So hopefully when people come back and start looking at poetry in the 21st century, they will find some of the things that we've done, right? Even our contemporaries now, when they're trying to see who's doing what and where,
We're
what I mean?
architects. We're
Everything
building the foundation.
everything. I mean, there's page, there's stage, there's slam, there's so much, right? So much, so many different aspects to poetry now. I try to get my foot into so many of them, like writing in forms. I still have to really dig in on that, right? Sonnets and sestinas and
I
and
don't
and
feel bad. Me
monicas and
too. I'm
villanelles and
learning
it's
too.
so many, so many. But
Mm.
It's
yeah, I
literally
mean, I really appreciate that.
168 different ways to write poetry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes it's good to find yourself in a space that has rules
Right.
so you can break them. That's
Right.
really
Yeah.
it. That's the only reason I want to know the rules so I can break them.
I'm good for
Yeah.
breaking the rules too. You tell me I can't don't fit in my vocabulary.
That's what
Nah,
it.
I'm gonna
That's
make it
what it's
fit.
about. That's what it's
I'm gonna
about
make it fit.
as a poet. Somebody said the other day in one of the group chats for one of the shows that I'm doing. They said, I'm not your typical poet or I'm not your typical artist or whatever. And I said, my man, there ain't no such thing. There ain't no such thing as your typical because ain't none of us typical. We are the apex of atypical. Like we are,
yeah,
the outliers. We are the outside, but at the same time, though we a lot of us might have been, the outliers in school or the sped kids or the whatever we feel just lost in the world, lost
You
boys.
know, like I always
Um,
like I
we
got
are
a piece.
we are bringing such beauty and light to the world and helping it heal. And and I mean that's not just healing us, but I mean we're healing the bullies that we're healing the bullies that bullied us in school, because you know what? Why they fucking bullied us? Because someone bullied them, and we're helping to use the pain of, instead of using it to bully someone else, we're using it to fix the world and help heal the bullies.
Uplift people, right? Because we understand you're hurting, right? We understand that, right? But we also have the words to help calm, right? We write in music. I love how you brought up, I believe you said Beethoven was deaf, right? However, you can still write beauty, right? He heard that, he saw that in his mind, and so he wrote what he saw.
Mm-hmm.
Poetry is no different. Graffiti, painting, it's no different, really. I think we are the detective bunch, right? We didn't fit the cookie cutter mold where everybody was coming off this assembly line. Everybody's gonna act like this, act like this.
Another brick in the wall.
No, we gotta put them to the side.
Not another brick in the wall.
You always had that one that was like, you know what? I ain't going over there. I'm going over here, but I ain't trying to hear that.
Right. I don't have to follow those things, right? I don't have to be on those spaces. And I think that's where we find each other. But that's also where inspiration is born, right?
And
because we're not following the crowd, not following the masses. We're searching for ourselves.
Right.
And I like that you mentioned Beethoven again too, because he was really such a prime example of, I mean, if you watch any of the movies made about him or documentaries, or you read up on him at all, he nobody really liked him. He wasn't a nice guy. People fucking, he was the asshole who locked himself in his room and fucking woke up the entire apartment with his piano and just spent his entire life creating. And he was a very much outsider loner, but he was tapped into something that not a lot of people are, and that's the vibrations of the universe. Because when you're deaf, you run off of literal vibrations. And so he felt not only the vibrations to move and get around in his life, but he felt the vibrations in his music. And you said something about earlier about how we're sort of channeling. I like to say that we channel, we're just batteries, basically. We channel the universe's energy and then we put it back out into the world. We're just conduits. Oh, thank you. Yes, conduits.
Yeah.
We're just conduits for the universe's energy, and Beethoven is one of the prime examples of that, just translating the universe's energy and letting that vibration go out through his music. That's what it's all about.
When you're open to it, it happens, right? The more you're open to it, the more that download happens. Concentrated downloads at that. You know what I mean? That's why you'll see writers or poets or even singers, sometimes they're up at 2 or 3 in the morning, like, oh my God, I got to get this line out, right? Just this one line. He just this one line.
I'm living proof. I have woken up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning to myself. Wait a minute, I got to write this down real quick.
I got to get this. I was like, oh,
at work, at fucking, dude, when I'm driving, I do a little voice message.
I'm good at that one too. It's like, man, it's like when you get that thought processes, and a lot of the times I find myself, it's like my intentions is to get up and just write that line, and we're gonna let it sit there and marinate.
Right.
And then it's like I'll go lay down, and it's like, you know what? Let me get back up because I think I got a little bit more to say.
Right. Gotta
and then it's like I let my pen just, a good friend of mine. Tender miss, by the way. One day, I was having a hard time one day. I was trying to get this piece done for a competition. And when I tell y'all, I did not have a thought process. I couldn't think of shit. Not my own name. She said, calm down. She said, clear your mind. Okay. She said, don't think about nothing. Just clear your mind. She said, now write down what comes to mind. And I just started writing. I'm like, wait a minute. How the hell did she? And it's like, man, I'm talking about the whole piece just came about. Like, I'm like, ain't this about a now? But me sitting here trying to do that on my own, it was like I was having a whole fight with myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like I was talking about earlier. You gotta let you give that opportunity to let those voices scream into the void. You just gotta shut everything down and silence everything else so that those voices can talk and speak their truth. And then they just do. They just scream out onto the page.
And they definitely do. And them words come out of nothing. They really express how they feel too.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to just make room for them. That's all. Make room for them.
Absolutely, you got it. Yeah, like your friend was saying, you cleared your mind, and then it made room for you to be that conduit for it to be able to flow through you.
Definitely flows.
It's got to be hollow and empty to be able to let something pass through it. So yeah, yep. Phenomenal pieces, guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. I'm gonna do one piece before we leave. And then I'll bring you guys up to see what you thought about it, and we'll get out of here. This piece is one of those pieces that, like I was saying earlier, and like me and Elemental were talking about, each word, each phrase, very delicately picked. So just listen closely to this one. Go back and play it over again. Do whatever you got to do. This one's called Brick Walls and Pitfalls. I try to pick up the pen and pretend I'm an artist, but I just stick to the trend of not getting started. This brick wall in my head has become a new constant. I feel sick I'm in bed using these meds trying to find a new process, because trying to process my losses and all this constant nonsense is making me feel like my conscience is lost in the darkness. The monsters and skeletons deep in my closet spin me in circles. They're making me nauseous. I'm at war with my demons. They're taking me hostage. They torture my feelings. They're making me watch it. My terror attacks and my heart is the target. And now suddenly I am back where I started. Back in a bender till I fall on the carpet. Back in the battlefield, putting shots back for my dearly departed. And during the day, you can't look at my face and tell that I'm empty and hollow. But look at the page and look at the bottle. Because I always say that I'll try tomorrow. So the booze was erased and the words they were swallowed, then puked on the ground. Now I am face down while I lay here and drown in my sorrow. And I don't know why every verse that I write starts with me trying to survive in my mind and ends with me crying, passing out, puking, or dying. I've got everyone gasping and sighing like, why can't you write something happy? Write about goals that you have and write about making them happen. Write us some scenes where you're laughing. Why do you always fall back into this gloom that you say that you're trapped in? I told him I'm glued to the blackness. Like a symbiote suit, we're attracted. I'm all for the doom, it's fantastic, but you should marvel the way that I mask it in public like Superman's glasses, because I'm the comic relief for the masses, but my origin story is tragic, because I was told to always hold back and hold on to the rage and the sadness. I was told that I had to be passive, so when I get mad, it's making my ego get massive. I'm turning green, breaking free from the evil and smashing the walls I put up in my head to the ashes, because now I can finally master this passion, because see, this is the scene you were asking to see. This is the scene where I'm laughing. This is the scene that'll be the most graphic. No treaty of peace, you can see me almost ready to snap in your tweak when you see me about to go savage on the demons and doubters and naggers, because that's how I see my way out of the deep shadow of doubt from my past when it falls on me like a shroud and my world gets darker than I imagine it will be. Well, everything around me blackens and it feels like I walk down a path that's surrounded by trees where the reaper peeks at me from between the saplings. But there ain't no route around it. That's the street I stand my ground in. It's the only place my feet feel grounded. What I mean is being proud to be myself is the only way I'll be able to get through this hell and leave my enemies all astounded. And that is Brick Walls and Pitfalls. What did y'all think? Lady Crucible.
The cadence, first off, the consistent flow was just, oh my gosh, phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Did you just say the Grand Reaper? Can you repeat that line for me real quick?
Yeah.
The Reaper was peeking at him through the sapling.
Yeah. I was
Everything's
like, wait a minute.
everything around me blackens. It feels like I walk down a path that's surrounded by trees with the Reaper peeks at me from between the saplings. Yeah.
Oh yes. Dope line.
Yeah.
Yes, that's dope.
I was trying to really just paint a clear imagery of that, but yeah.
Oh, you could definitely you could see the imagery of it. I can feel the whole. I could feel myself literally running in that verse as you saying it, and it's like, oh shit. Yeah, that's yeah, dope. Definitely a dope. Yeah, that's
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I worked on the cadence of that particular part where I speed it up to make it feels like you're running too. Yeah, I'm glad you
Yeah,
noticed
and see,
that. Thank you.
that's exactly. It's like I felt myself. It's like soon as you sped it up, it was like, wait a minute, hold on, what the hell? Hold on, nigga, wait a minute, come on, y'all, run, look, we gotta go, we gotta go. Yeah,
Yeah, thank
that's
you.
dope.
Thank you. I
Definitely.
appreciate it. Elemental, what'd you think?
I can hear the influence of Mr. Mathers in your work. Right? I can hear it
Yeah.
in the best of ways, right? The greatest artists are thieves, right? We have all stolen something or found a way to use something that someone does and include it into what we do, right? What you hear from me is a few different people. But I love the fact that it started, right, with almost like a letter to yourself, right? It started when you said, maybe I'll just stick to the trend of not getting started, right? Say look at the page and look at the bottle, right? Like
Yeah.
that,
They both empty. What happened
right?
here? Well, what happened here? Well, look at the page, look at the bottle. We can figure out what happened here.
Right. It's like, how did we get here?
How did we get here? I had every intention to fill this one, right? But I left both of them empty. Like,
Right. Like this one was supposed to help me put something into this one, but then I junked all this one, and I still ain't got shit over here. It's like that.
I got nothing, right? Found the bottom of another bottle, and I still don't have any healing, right? There was no healing at the bottom of that one either. So let me get another one. Maybe it's at the bottom of that
So it's
one.
like, how many more empty bottles am I gonna be found? How many more empty bottles am I gonna find myself at the bottom of until I find that actual healing that I'm looking for?
Yes.
Right.
Instead of just
more than you
realizing
can
the
count.
healing is not at the bottom of the box.
It's not. I like that you said, why can't you write something happy, right? Instead of this gloom that you say that you're trapped in, right? In public, like Superman's glasses, that's just dope, right? They told me that's just sick, man. Like it's just sick. Like again, like you're right what you're saying about Superman earlier, right? Symbol of hope. It's also the House of L, right? It's literally his name. Like literally his name on his chest, right? Like literally. And I really dig that, you know, like you said, master this passion, right? You see me about to go savage, like when you snap on shit like that, it's just, and then the inline, right? Make my enemies all astounded. That right there is when you do all of these things, right? All of these beautiful riffs and crescendos and all of that. But you have to bring it home, right? You have to leave those people very notified, if you will, right? That you are here, that your power is yours, right? And with all these things, right? I've heard that too, right? Why can't you write something happy? Why does it have to be so deep? Why does it have to be so dark? Well, listen, I mean, you could take this if you'd like and see how much of this darkness that you could write about, right? But there is a level of healing in writing things like this. To me, this is the work, right? This is the work. All of that, we could write about pop culture and movies and music and anime and cartoons, whatever. We could do that. But it's this, right? It's this type of stuff that when you start speaking your truth, right? When you get to this,
that form of shadow work.
right.
Yeah.
This is that, up close and personal type shit with yourself.
Right.
This isn't about anybody else. This is about yourself, but how people see you, right? And when you are comfortable enough to start saying that, your work starts to change a little bit. Your confidence changes. It evolves into something else, right? Not ego, just more of a passionate approach to why you write what you write.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's something I try to do with all my pieces. A lot of them, I like how you said it's kind of like a letter to myself. A lot of them start off that way because I said, a lot of them are written at 3 a.m. when I'm sitting by myself, in the silence and the darkness. And it's just before anything, it's a therapy for me. It's a way for me to get out my inner demons, and it's a way for me to express myself. And I like that you I might like that you mentioned Eminem, because I don't just take my influences from his obviously the double entendres are heavily influenced by him. The multiple syllable rhyme schemes are heavily influenced by him, but also the theory that you can take the darkest part of yourself and turn it into the best part of yourself, aka Slim Shady. He is the proponent of that. He is, the biggest example of taking the darkest part of yourself and turning it into the best and most lucrative part of yourself. That's that. When I say I take my influence from Eminem, before rhyme scheme or flow or metaphors, that's my main thing that I take from him is the ability to use your darkness to achieve phenomenal feats. And that's what, it's the only way I can leave my enemies all astounded. That to me, that feels like an Eminem line to me. That sounds like something he would say, that, that like, that's, he's only one of my influences. Obviously, but many of my other influences, funnily enough, because they're younger than him, were influenced by him. A lot of the music that I like, Joyner Lucas, phenomenal fucking writer, some of the best storytelling ever. I mean, I remember when he came out with I'm Not Racist, and it was that the black guy sitting across from the white guy, and it was just the whole conversation, and there's all the story. But Joyner Lucas and those songs like that would never have come about without Stan. And I love how I was actually talking to my sister about it on the way to the concert last night. Is I feed off of all these different artists, and they're also feeding off of all these different artists. So we're all just connected in this big web, like Spider-Man, the web of life and destiny. We're all connected in this big spider web of, poetry and music and feelings. And I just love how we can pull from. I mean, so many of you pulled from popular music. We had one influenced by Simon and Garfunkel, from a lot of people probably don't even know who Nancy Sinatra is because her brother's way too famous. It's Frank Sinatra's sister, but she is also a phenomenal artist. But yeah, I mean, I love how we can draw from all aspects of music and just create our own things with them and our own light. They say there's no such thing as an original idea, and it's kind of true, but there's such thing as an original way to express that idea. And that's what we do as artists is take the sentiments that hold dear to us and we resonate with, and express them so that other people can resonate with them as well. And just all of you do a phenomenal job at that. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Thanks everybody who watched. And we really appreciate it. Make sure y'all go check us out on all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is where we're live every Saturday night at 9 p.m. And then go follow us on TikTok, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeart, Audible. I said that. God, it's getting a long night. Anywhere you find your podcast, guys. Make sure you go check out our Deep Cut show. Make sure you go check out Lostboys Presents Lost in the Woods with me and Brandon. And make sure you go check us out next Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Peace out, guys. Thanks for coming.
Hey.